Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview play of ZeroDay.exe. This is a one-off roguelite deck building dungeon crawler, pretty dang cool, and I'm going to do a playthrough of the prototype and then give my impressions at the end of the video. And as always, we take no compensation for our crowdfunding coverage. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and come say hi on our Discord. So like I said, ZeroDay.exe is a dungeon crawler mixed with a deck builder. These are one-off scenarios, either regular scenarios like the one I'm going to show you, or boss scenarios, but it's not a campaign, which I say thank God to, because there are way too many of those. Each scenario uses a specialized map, you have some objectives to achieve, and you have enemies spawning based on player count. And each player has their own character. In solo, for this play, I'm going to control 2 characters. There is supposed to be a true solo mode coming for the game, but that hasn't been developed yet. There's a lot of things going on in the game, so I think I'm just going to explain things as we play. I think that'll make it go a little bit easier. We'll just give you the core basics of what's going on in this scenario. This is Rooftop Rumble, and this is a slightly more complicated scenario than the other one that came with the prototype. If you want to see that more straightforward scenario in action, Steve and Kim over at the Co-op Guild did an awesome playthrough, so I would watch both of them. That'll give you a really good idea of how the game works. But what do we have to do? We have to access both terminals using 2 actions to access each, and then we need to get through the door. Pretty straightforward. We're starting over here on top of the roof. The first terminal is over there. The second one is all the way down here to the right, and then the exit is right there. But there are just tons of enemies, and there's actually 4 types of enemies. In most scenarios, there are only 3, but we have these militants, these green guys down here, and they're going to be basically sniping us. Instead of their usual range stat, they have infinite range, although we can hide behind obstacles like this blue thing here to try to stop them from attacking us. But yeah, as we run over and try to get to the terminals, they're just going to be just shooting us all over the place. It's going to be great. And then for my characters, I've got Shade, who's kind of like a techno ninja. The basic theme of this one is that like this rogue AI is trying to kill all the cybernetically enhanced humans, and we're just trying to fight them off while also maybe saving some innocents at the same time. We're sort of anti-heroes in that way. So he can like go stealth mode, he can teleport around to attack people, riposte when they attack him. And my other character is Kit E, eating her ramen over here. She's a just straight-up mauler. Actually, both my characters are pretty damage-focused and maybe not defensive enough for a scenario where snipers are gunning us down every 2 seconds. We'll see how things go. But let's get into the actual play, and again, I'll just explain things as we go. So each character starts with a deck of 4 unique cards just for them. And remember, everything you're seeing here is a prototype. Things might change. And they've also got some upgraded foil versions of those same 4 cards, so you can swap those in as the game goes along. But 2 of those 4 cards, we're going to add some right off the bat, drawing 5 cards and keeping 2 of them. And you'll see not all of them have images yet. All right, so I'm not going to go into like too much detail because, again, we haven't said how the game is played yet. But this one will weaken enemy attacks. This one will make our attacks stronger, except this one's mainly better for Shade than Kitty. This one lets you use an enemy ability against them. That one seems pretty awesome. This one, if you kill somebody, lets you get extra actions. And this one lets you spend movement to use your cards more easily. I'm going to get the Copycat and the Quick Calibrate for Kitty, so those will become our 6 initial cards. Meanwhile, for Shade, got an attack booster and converter here. Another attack booster. This one lets you get skills back more quickly. That's pretty cool. This one lets you hurt yourself to get special bonuses. This one is healing. Let's go for attack bonus and getting skill back for Shade. So with our initial deck of 6 cards, 4 of them being regular cards, by the way, I should have said all those cards were coming from a shared deck. I'm going to go ahead and draw 4 for each character, and we'll get ready to go and start our first rune. So each round begins with an upgrade phase, and a lot of these are going to rely on loot you've collected from the board or from defeating enemies, where you can spend these different cube colors to level up and get like item cards and stuff. But all we're going to care about for the first round and every round is called downloading. We get to draw 3 cards from the central supply, the market basically, where we just got our cards from a second ago. And 1 of them goes in our discard, or 2 of them can go in our discard if we trash from our deck a card in our discard or our hand. Not going to do that second one because we don't want to lose cards, but let's go ahead and do it for Shade and then Kitty. So Sweeper makes your regular attack become an area of effect. Defect Demon lets you spend movement to bypass armor. Flash Mend lets you heal There are a lot of enemies, but are they actually going to stand in the right place for Sweeper? Let's get Defect Demon. And again, that goes in my discard pile, although I only have 2 cards left in my deck, so I'll get to it pretty quickly. And then for Kitty, I've got, Overheat. Lets you do damage, like just an extra attack, which is pretty great. Keeps people from moving adjacent to an ally, which could shut down some of the more melee-focused enemies. And this one lets you crash an enemy and deal some damage, which means they basically skip their turn. Yeah, between these two, they're both good. Let's go for the crash one. That's a really nice status effect, basically a stun to apply on someone. So again, that was at the start of every round where we download. We get a free card to our decks. So you're going to be deck building in this game basically automatically every single round. And we're going to skip all the rest of this and go right to the initiative phase, where we're going to set up the turn and who's acting when. So to start actually talking about the cards, each card has in the upper left an initiative value from 1 to 5. And lower is faster in this game. So if I play a 4 for a Shade, then I'm very likely to go late in the round. Whereas if I play Blade Hack with a 1 initiative, I'm probably going to go early. And for this round, I actually want to go slow because I don't think any enemies can actually get to me with their range and movement. So I'd rather let them go first and then kind of take care of things. So I'm going to pick Shadow for Shade. And for Kitty, Hiss or Quick Reflexes. Hiss does a nice attack. Quick Reflexes makes all my shields higher, not attacks. Yeah, I'm going to do Quick Reflexes for Kitty. Although I guess she's not very quick because that's a 5 initiative. So once I've selected my initiative cards, which again are taken out of my hand, so I'm really only going to have 3 cards in my hand, not 4. I'm going to flip cards from this enemy initiative deck. I think they have 2 copies of each value, 1 through 5. And I'm going to add them to each type of enemy. That's also going to determine how they activate. Each enemy type, and again, usually there's 3, but because this mission has those special sniper dudes, they get their own deck of cards and everything that they're activating. So I'm resolving 4 enemy turns. Yay. But yeah, so you have these level cards. There's multiple of these per type. So cyborgs will be doing different things every time you play the game, but they level up. So they'll start out with a level 1 card. Once they get an upgrade token, which I'll show you how that happens later, they get to their level 2 card. Then eventually they're level 3. So their activation gets stronger and stronger. But right now they're on level 1, and this is kind of a cool thing. You draw the initiative card for them. They're getting a 1. So I cover up the bottom part of their action, and that is now telling me what their actual action is for the turn, because it was a 1, 2, or 3. So you have a bit of a predictability of what each unit is going to do, and the 1, 2, 3 is clearly more common. All right, so yeah, let's draw for the jammers. They got a 2. So far, we are definitely last like we wanted to be. Whoops. Slicers got a 4, so they do the top thing there. And then the militants, the snipers, also got a 4. So let's show you how this all works out. And before I show you, just to explain this, if this card is drawn, then we're going to shuffle before the next time we do initiative. Whereas if it wasn't out, we would just keep on drawing from the same deck until we drew that card. So you've got an initiative track here, and you've got tokens for each of your characters and each of the types of enemies. And we're going to go from lowest to highest, just putting their initiative order out. Enemies win ties, which again is going to work in our favor here because Shade is a 4 and Kitty is a 5. So the lowest was the cyborgs. They're going to go first. Then it was the blue jammers. Then the slicers and the militants are technically tied, and they're both enemies, so we can pick. They win the tie over Shade, and then Shade is second to last, and Kitty is last. And you'll see these little threat icons underneath the 3 leftmost spots, and this is different for every map you play on. This means that when your characters go earlier, you have to add threat, advanced threat on the threat track, which is another reason to go a little bit later in this part of the scenario. And here's the partial threat track, just to make room. I made it going vertically instead of horizontally. You start all the way on the left. I couldn't find the actual token in the prototype for this, so I'm just using this token. And as you add threat through that initiative track I just showed and other effects, this thing's going to move up. And whenever it reaches an upgrade token, which were randomly laid out at the beginning of the game, then that's what's going to trigger going to the next card for that enemy type. So the slicers were selected as the black enemy in this one, so we would get rid of their level 1 and activate their level 2 card for the rest of the game. But we didn't get any threat yet, so none of that is happening. Instead, we're going to resolve the enemy turn, starting with the cyborg. So let's see what they're doing. There's one cyborg in that corner of the roof and one over there. And both these cyborgs are going to move 1, trying to get within 2 range to attack, and dealing this much damage. And the fact that these icons are yellow and they have that little symbol there means this is a cyber attack. Usually that doesn't matter, and it's not going to affect things too much which attack it does. But there are some abilities that like specifically boost your cyber or your physical. That's the other type of damage. And the enemies all have varied defenses for cyber and physical, so it matters a lot more for players. Now this, I didn't realize this was going to happen. This means that this is an AoE attack, and only one of these 3 spaces needs to be within 2 range, which means they are going to hit me. Wah, wah. So I activate the enemies of this type in order. So we've got the 1 cyborg over here and the 2 over there. And first we pick their primary target, which is, first of all, the character that they can get to with the least movement. And then they break ties by the character that has more life and the character that's earlier on initiative. In this case, it doesn't really matter because we're next to each other, but technically Shade has more life than Kitty, so Shade's being targeted. So they will use their movement of 1 to try to get in range of hitting the person, in this case Shade, but they'll also try to maximize targets. So here they're going to attack the space in front of Shade and Kitty and hit them both. So 1, 1, 2 range, area of effect. They hit us both for 3 cyber, which sounds like a lot because Shade only has 6 life and Kitty only has 5. And when you go to 0, any character goes to 0, you immediately lose the game. That's the main loss condition. But each character has a defense stat, and these stats can be increased, as you can imagine. So right now, Shade and Kitty both have 2 defense, which means they're only taking a single point of damage from the cyborg's attack. But for Kitty, that is 20% of her life, so that's great. Maybe I should have taken those healing options. The other cyborg is just going to move a single space, so we can choose when they're equidistant. There we go. Okay, next are the Jammers. They can move 1. They have 5 range. They would hit for 4 damage, and they would put a Faraday net on your second spot of basically your cooldown track. All that's pretty nasty. Thankfully, the closest Jammer is over here, and they, first of all, can't even shoot with line of sight through the blue, and they're definitely not within 5. The blue spaces are called obstacles. You've also got red hexes, which are elevated hexes. You got to spend 2 movement to get into elevation or to leave it. Although if you're already in an elevated spot, you can walk over other elevated spots without penalty. Yellow spaces you can't enter at all, but they don't block line of sight, like this big pit between the streets, as you can see. And some terrain hexes also give you a bonus. In this case, if you're standing here, you have +1 cyber defense. Okay, still activating enemies. We'll get to us soon, I promise. These are the slicers, which are like melee attack dudes. So they are moving 2, trying to get within range 1. And they could do a little sweep action here. This symbol means that has to be the slicer, but they can attack 2 spaces adjacent. Here it won't matter because they can't quite reach us. So that worked out okay. We got another slicer over here. Jesus, this mission. And they're going to spawn more people starting around 3, by the way. So just great. Yeah, in the other mission that Steve and Kim played, you start with like 1 or maybe 2 enemies in a room, and you can really take your time and learn the ropes. This one just starts kicking you as soon as you get going. All right, and finally, our militant snipers, they have 3 movement, but the operation rules clarify that they never move, and they always have infinite range, so they're trying to attack for 4. But I picked the spots I picked because you go center to center. If you go through a blue or a wall, although there are no walls here, it is blocked. And thankfully, yep, the blue is blocking us in these starting spaces, which is exactly what I planned. So they can't get a shot, and they do nothing. Whew. All right, survive with 1 damage each person. I thought we were going to get none. Again, I forgot how the cyborgs were going to attack. But so it goes. Let's get to our first player turn, starting with Shade. All right, so how does a player turn run? First, you have your ready phase, where you move each hack that is in your cooldown track, in your programming track, I think it's called, down 1 space. So as you play cards, you'll see they each have a value here, 1, 2, 3, or even 4, and that's which slot the card goes into. And at the start of each of your turns, it goes down by 1 until it eventually goes off and you get in your discard pile. A few cards will give you bonuses while they're up here in the track, but most of them are just kind of biding their time until you can get them back to play them again. So that's first in the ready stage. Then you move your tracker for each skill 1 space. So skills can be used for free on your turn. They don't cost an action, as we'll get to in a second. They start out on the highest value, like both Blink Blade and Riposte have 3, whereas Kitty's Pounce has 2. And at the start of each of your turns, it goes down 1, and once it falls off, you can use the skill again. So there's very basic cooldown tracks here. All right, next we get movement points equal to our movement stat. And you can use these at any time during your turn. You can mix and match them with actions. So Shade has 3 movement points currently, and he could move 1, then like play a card to attack, then move 1 more, then do something else, then move another one. So you can freely intersperse your movement, although you have to fully resolve another action before you get back to moving. And we get a shift, which is going to go with programming and loading your hacks, basically playing cards. We'll get to all that in a second. But yeah, we have our shift token ready to go. Once we use it, we're going to flip it to its X side here. And that brings us to the action phase. In the action phase, we can use 2 actions, and we can use our skills, although once we use them, they got to cool down for a while. So what are our action options? Load, which is the card playing one, is the most complicated, so let me skip that one for a second. You can, for an action, recharge, which lets you heal up to 2, or shift up to 2 times. Shifting moves and flips these program tokens. For your free shift, or for any single shift, you can either flip a token to its opposite color. You can see that it's blue or green or red, or you can swap any 2 tokens with each other, including the 2 exterior ones. Now, again, when I get to loading hacks and playing cards from your hand, I'll explain why that matters. But yes, so with the recharge action, you can heal 2 or shift 2 as an action. You can also, once per turn, use your character's inherent attack. For Shade, it has 1 range. That's what that little symbol means. And it says you deal as physical damage, which will, depending on the enemy, do more or less damage to them, your attack stat. And for both Shade and Kitty, their attack stat starts at 3. So until that gets upgraded, every time they attack, they're going to do 3 damage. And then finally, the last action is to access the terminal. They're pretty far away, so that's not going to happen for a while. All right, and let's get to the most important action in the game, which is loading hacks. So, playing cards, black hack, camouflage, and fizz shift. How does this work? So you can ignore the number in the upper left right now. That's the initiative value that we already saw. We talked about this little cooldown track value. It's going to put it in your track here. But here's what the card actually does. Just this box here, not this box down here. That's when you play this as a flux, which means you play it to help another player out of turn. So Blade Hack, not Black Hack, what am I talking about? Blade Hack adds +1 physical damage the next time you deal physical damage. So I could make Shade basically do 4 damage with an attack instead of 3. Camouflage, if it has this little symbol here, it means this only applies while it's in your cooldown track. It means that enemies cannot target me. It's pretty dang nice. And then Fizz Shift, when I play it, says within 2 range, you or an ally deal physical damage instead of cyber damage this round and gain +1 physical damage for the round. So I basically got 2 things that'll let me boost damage. So yeah, when you play a card, you use up one of your actions, you put it in the proper spot. You can play cards on top of other cards, like let's say Camouflage had a 2, it could go on top of Fizz Shift. If at least one of the program colors, in this case just blue, or for Fizz Shift, red and blue, if at least one of those colors matches, you discard the card that you're putting the new card on top of. Otherwise, they just kind of sit together, but you are blocking any ongoing powers or bonuses from the card below it. Now, let's get to the program and why this stuff matters. So, notice that Camouflage has an X here and then 2 blue hooks, or Fizz Shift has a red, then an X, then a hook. You only have 2 actions a turn. It takes a whole action to play a card. But if you have the correct color combinations in the correct spaces to match a card's requirements, like actually both of these work right now, with the X not mattering, then you can play the card for free without spending an action. So Blade Hack, if I have a red, green, and anything, which I do, I could play that for free and it wouldn't use one of my 2 actions. Same thing for Fizz Shift. I have a red, a nothing, and a blue. I could play that without using up one of my 2 actions. But whenever you do that, whichever program tiles were used in the playing of the card, not the X, but in this case like the red and the blue, flip-flop to their alternate side. Now, fluxes work similarly. You can play them out of turn if you have the indicated thing on your board, but then you have to flip it to its opposite side. And a really cool thing with how fluxes work, once per round, when you play a flux, you can put in this little PCI slot here. And when you do that, you get to draw this number of cards from your deck. So basically, once per turn, if you help another player out, you don't go down any cards for doing so. Okay, so that's kind of the basics. I wanna beat some faces in here, try to start doing some damage. So I've already got a Blade Hack paid for, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do Blade Hack. It goes into my 3 slot, and I'm going to play it for free, so I still have 2 actions left. Both those flip, which you'll notice now makes Camouflage ready to play with the 2 blues. So I'm getting +1 physical damage the next time I deal physical damage, and I still have 2 actions left. I also still have my free shift. I also still have my 3 movement. Let's see. I want to play Fizz Shift 2. And actually, I care more about that being free than about Camouflage being free. So I'm going to use my free shift to flip the red back to that side. Then I'm going to play Fizz Shift again for a free action. So I still have not used either of my actions, but the red and the blue flip. And I'm going to choose myself. So I'm dealing physical this turn, which I was doing anyway. And I get +2 physical to my next attack and then +1 for the rest of the round. All right, I'm really going to go hard on this. Let's go ahead and go into camouflage too. That one did take an action because I do not have the correct things in my spot. By the way, you'll notice that none of these are covering each other up. So enemies cannot target me until the start of my next turn, which means like if I run out where the snipers can see me, it's not a big deal. Okay, I still got one action left, but first let's do a little blink blade. So this one says there's going to be a 3-turn cooldown. Move adjacent to an enemy within 2 spaces. Then deal physical damage -1. So that's like my damage value. 3 -1, which is 2 to an adjacent enemy. If camouflage is in your track, deal regular damage, no -1 instead. The upgrades don't apply yet. As we get those cubes from killing enemies and stuff, we can do those. But yeah, so long story short, I'm doing 3 damage, +1, +2, so 5 physical damage. And the weakest enemy to physical is, the cyborg's 3 away. So let's say I use one of my 3 movement points, then I'm going to do Blink Blade, and I can pick any adjacent space. Let's go there. So I have 2 movement points left. And again, I'm tagging for 5 physical. And here is the cyborg's defense. They have 2 against cyber, 1 against physical, so 4 damage is getting through. This little track here is for their health, so they start with 7 health each. And she's the green #1 unit, so when they take damage, you can use those to mark it. So I did 5 -1 is 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think y'all can see where this is going. For my other action, once per turn, I'm going to do a melee attack, dealing physical damage, still boosted by my Fizz Shift, so that's 4 damage. -1 armor is 3. So #1 is defeated. Heck yeah. That's what she gets for blasting with the area of effect. And whenever you defeat an enemy, you're going to draw 2 cubes from the bag. These are upgrade cubes for the start of the next round. I'll explain what the different colors mean when we start using them. You can also, by the way, if you move on to places like this that have little colors there, get upgrades as well. So those are really good places to go for. Okay, I've used both of Shade's actions. I have no cards left in my hand. He's camouflaged, so he's not afraid of getting hit this turn. So I'm going to go and use my other 2 movement points remaining to go over there. And do I want to riposte? I think I do not. It says while the tracker is at 3, so only for the first turn you do it. Whenever an enemy attacks you, you deal physical damage -1 to that enemy after the attack, or 0 if you've upgraded it. Which sounds really good, but since he's camouflaged, no one's going to be attacking him. So that would be a waste. I should note, by the way, that none of Kitty's fluxes really mattered. This one would have let Kitty move 1, but she can just play it on her own turn and move 1 anyway. This one would have given an ally a bonus to cyber damage, but Shade was only doing physical. And this one's actually amazing. Would have let Shade use like an enemy attack instead of his own, which are super powerful. But she didn't have the right icons in her board to play that. So we'll save that for her turn, I guess. Now, importantly, at the end of your turn, you get to draw up to a hand of 4, which you'll notice is every card, because that's why you need to keep on adding cards to your deck with the deck building. So now he can potentially do a flux on her. So this one would let her just get +1 damage on an attack. That's pretty cool. This one would also let her get +1 damage on an attack. Ooh, he can play both of those. Although, remember, only the first one is going to redraw itself. This one would let an ally within 2 range lower a skill cooldown by 1. And this one would add a worm to an ally's attack. A worm basically makes them vulnerable to the next attack. They take double damage from it. Okay, so, yep, that's Shade's turn. Let's get to Kitty's turn to finish out the round. All right, so her abilities, or her skills, I should say. Instinct. While the tracker's at 3, if an enemy causes you to lose damage, move to any unoccupied space within 3 spaces. So she can really leap all over the place. Maybe get to that terminal a little bit faster. Although Shade with his camouflage might be the better choice for that. And then Pounce is a damage booster at the cost of movement. She can spend any number of her movement points for the turn. She gets 4, so she's a little faster than Shade. And then she'll deal +1 damage to all her attacks for the turn for every 3 movement she spent, which right now with her only having 4 movement would be a max of, I guess, 1. Or for every 2 movement she spent if she upgrades it. All right, so I'd kind of like her to kill the Slicer near her to get us more upgrades and then maybe get moving. Hopefully he's still staying out of range of the snipers. So Hiss does a cyber attack. Agility Demon gives me more movement, which seems pretty cool. And the Hiss is ready to be played for free and has 2 range, which would reach the Slicer. So yeah, let's play that first. That goes into the 3 spot. And it's a red, green, anything. So again, that is not taking one of her actions yet. All right, so she's going to attack for 3 damage, range 2. I am going to have Shade jump in with a flux that requires a green to add worm to her attack. And that goes into the PCI slot and flips the green. Oh, Shade doesn't have any other cards. So I think that stays in the PCI slot. I don't think it can be drawn from the PCI slot, so he's not getting to draw for that. Oh, that kind of sucks. Maybe that was a bad choice. Well, it's going to work out. Because she's attacking Slicer number 1 for 3 damage, and he has 0 defense against Cyber, so he's down to 7. And he's got a worm on him to double the next attack that gets through. They actually slot on top of the acrylic standees, which is fun. Okay, and I'm realizing I'm not going to be able to kill this guy without either Shade discarding another card, which I think would totally bork his turn, or without pouncing. And she gets pounced back pretty quickly. So I'm going to pounce and spend 3 of her 4 movement to get +1 damage to all her attacks. Let's actually say I did that before I attacked him the first time, so he's down to 6 life. And then I'm going to spend her last remaining movement, because she had 1 left, to move within range 1 of the guy and deal another cyber attack. So, boom, hello. So this is doing 3 damage unopposed by his defense because he has none, and doubled by the worm means it's 6. Boom, another enemy down. And let's see what we get this time. 2 more whites, okay. Now that attack did take an action. Let's go ahead and use this one. This is free to gain +1 movement, so she'll have 1 movement left. Maybe that's worth doing. I don't know. So, yeah, it's going to go to the 2 spot. It flips that to its green side. And yeah, she's got 1 movement. All right, so let's see. I've got 1 action left. I've got 1 movement point left. Copycat. I can copy an enemy's ability that's within 3. That's not going to happen. Nobody's close enough. Or is there any way for me to at least get closer? What do I need? I need a blue and a blue opposite to play this as a flux and let Shade do an enemy's ability. So let's spend her 1 free shift. We haven't done that yet, just to swap these. And then if that one flips back over, I'll have the blue and blue to use this. But I'm going to hang on to this. You know what? For the last action, let's recharge and get up to 2 health back. So now she's at full health. That means Shade is also at 5. And finally, at end Kitty's turn for the first round and just end the first round in general. I'm going to move here because I think, well, first of all, it gets me a little closer to the terminal, but I think that'll also give me better defense with the blue. I think one of the snipers can see me from here. Yeah, we had a great turn. I'd say we defeated 2 enemies. We have a bunch of upgrade stuff to get in a second. So cool. That's the end of the first round. Let's go into the second and show you what the full upgrade phase looks like. At first, we still draw 3 hacks, keep 1 in our discard pile, so our deck keeps getting bigger and bigger. Or we can keep 2 if we remove a card from our discard or hand from the game. If I really love one of the new ones, so let's look for Kitty first. All right, so we got sysconfig 4. When sack is moved to your discard from the track, draw 2 cards. That's great for characters that have an easy time manipulating kind of the cooldown track, but she does not, so meh. Hack Sequencer, also a 4. When you use a flux, place a tracker on this card. Remove a tracker, ignore 1 tile of a hack's program pattern. Oh, so that's kind of cool. So it would stay around for a while, and if I'm helping my friends, then I'll be able to play cards for free a little bit better. Or Heat Sink. When you use a flux, choose an enemy in 3 range to lose 1 damage. Ooh, and that would last for up to 3 rounds. Or this one just chooses an enemy to deal 1 damage. This one lets an ally ignore 1 program cost on a hack. I'm torn between these. Let's go for the hack sequence, I guess. Oh, and actually, you know what? Hold on. Kitty should have drawn back up to 4 before she did any of this stuff. Yeah, because then the new card goes in my discard. All right. As for Shade, we've got Disinter Demon. Draw an extra card during each of your draw stages. When this is moved to 2, you may take a damage and discard it to draw 2 cards. Huh, not bad, not bad. Let's see if we like anything else there. Refresher. Lower an ally's skill cooldown by 1. Didn't I already have? I think he already has something like that. And then Freezer. All enemies in 4 or that move within 4 range lose 2 movement points. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Between that and his camouflage, he can shut down a lot of attacks, although not the snipers that are kind of our biggest worry here. But yeah, I like that one best, I think. Okay, now we get to our actual upgrade options. So we have 3 whites and a green. So progress skill, upgrade cards, and build mod are going to be options, but I'll talk through all of them. So progress skill says player may return 1 white to the bag to have each player place a tracker on the first open plus slot of a skill. You may lower that skill's cooldown by 1 if you do. So basically, we're going to put a cube in the plus space under one of our skills. That'll lower the cooldown by 1 if the skill is active. And once we get a second plus placed, then we upgrade the skill to its better version. So yeah, let's definitely pay 1 white, putting it back in the bag. And there is one kind of negative cube in here. That's a black cube. So it is kind of generally helpful, even though this is an optional thing to spend this white cube to get them back in. So I'm going to upgrade Blink Blade, lower its cooldown by 1, and get a cube there so it's closer to being able to hit 2 enemies when I teleport. And definitely going to get Pounce halfway to being more efficient with the movement, and it's also going to mean that at the start of a turn, she'll be able to use it again, which is cool. Okay, next is upgrade cards. Players may return any 2 cubes of a scavenge bag to have each player upgrade one of their starting cards. Now, there's another optional one, so I could hang on to these other 2 white cubes, and that way I would be sure that I would be able to upgrade Pounce the next turn, but let's just go and use them. So we each get to take one of our foil starter cards and replace the original starter card with it wherever it is. If it's in our deck, if it's in our cooldown, anywhere, we replace it. So Hiss gains an extra range and +2 damage. Jesus, that's good. Quick Reflexes, which is in our hand. Doesn't change that much. Well, it makes the Flux add 2 defense instead of 1. Oh, and it makes all defense +1 instead of just cyber defense, but still not as impressive. Agility Demon gives you +1 for each adjacent enemy instead of just +1 overall, or lets you move 2 spaces with the Flux. And then Translocator is one that's in my hand now. It lets you basically teleport 2 spaces, and this one lets you teleport 4. It is in my hand. And teleporting in a mission where you gotta get to terminals and stuff pretty quickly and watch out for snipers seems like maybe a good idea. Ooh, you know what? Speaking of, see, I'm thinking either Hiss or Translocator. Translocator I like a little bit less than just murdering people, but it's already in my hand. So sure, let's go ahead and just give us the upgraded Translocator right now. Okay, as for Shade, we could get Blade Hack to give us 2 damage instead of 1. Okay. Shadow's in our hand. It adds 1 cyber defense against non-adjacent enemies instead of just 1 defense overall, so kind of the same upgrade as the other one. Creepers was the one that gave us a worm. The initiative gets better. And I didn't actually read what the main ability does. Place a tracker on an enemy within 2 range. When this card is moved to your discard from the track, remove that tracker and that enemy loses 5 life. Whoa! Oh, and the original Creeper takes twice as long to fall off the track. See, 1 versus 2. And they only lose 3 life. That might be the one. Let's check how the better camouflage works. So it's still only 1 round that enemies can't target you, but you may discard this card to deal +2 damage the next time you deal damage. That's pretty cool, although then, of course, the camouflage goes away. Yeah, I like the Creepers one, and it is about to go back in my discard pile, so I won't have to wait too long. And that leaves us with 1 green part left, but I will note that there are also kind of orange parts, and those let each player draw an item, which are single-use little bonus things. But mods are even better because these are permanent upgrades you equip, and how it works is for each green, we've only got 1 here, and this is not optional, you have to spend all your green and orange. For each green, you draw 1 more mod than the number of players, and then each player gets to pick 1 mod. And they have little equipment slots. Each player can hold 1 in their arm, leg, brain, and head spot. So what have we got here? Mind Melder. During your draw stage, draw an additional card. That's beautiful. I'm going to throw in with that. Threat Blocker. Whenever you scavenge, if you draw the black cube and you put it back in the bag and redraw. That's when you're defeating enemies and you get to pick the cubes out and you don't want to get that negative cube. And then Reflexor. You considered last in the tiebreakers for targeting. Meh. Sure, let's go with these 2, I would say. And Shade's a little low on cards, so let's give him the extra card draw. You can replace these, by the way, with a new card in the same slot, but you have to discard the old one, so clearly not ideal. And then Kitty will get the Threat Blocker in case she draws bad things. And with that, it's back to initiative time. And no question about it, I want to go slow again because I think Kitty's far enough away from everybody they won't be able to hit her, and the sniper shouldn't have line of sight to her yet. And the camouflage is going to protect Shade for the moment, so if he can go after everyone, then they won't be able to mess with him. So what's the best we can do? I mean, I don't really care about the effects. I'm just going to use Shadow for Shade's initiative. And, I guess Quick Reflexes again for 5 for Kitty. And we're going to shuffle all the cards together and get new ones for the enemies. All right, let's see what we got. Cyborg's going 4. Jammer's going 4. The Slicers, whoops, I'm doing this all backwards, aren't I? There we go. 4, 4, 1, and 3. Awesome. So I think that means that, yeah, we're going after everyone since they win ties again. Perfect. All right, so the Slicers were first. Then the Snipers, whatever they're called. Then these guys are tied. Doesn't really matter much. And yeah, Shade is going before Kitty again. By the way, after round 3, starting in round 4, we start spawning 1 enemy every even round and odd round. It changes which color it is. So we do want to speed things up and not just take forever. All right, so the Slicers moving 2 and trying to get in range 1. Oh, and they have +1 defense for the round. But the nearest one is still crossing the bridge, so I'm not too worried about him. And I think we're still good, right? Because this is where we were at the beginning. Yep, that's through the blue, and that is. All right, so they still can't shoot me. Beautiful. Cyborgs also want to get into melee range, move 3 and 1 range. And there's the only one left, so all right. And then the Jammers, most dangerous one with their range, move 1 with range 4. But luckily they can't target him, so they're going to move down here to head toward Kitty. And yeah, still 2 out of range. Awesome. Now let's go wild. All right, so Shade is first. Camouflage falls off, and those both slide down. Blink Blade is almost ready again. And he's got his 1 shift left. He's got 3 movement. Okay, what are his actual gloating cards? You may spend 1 move to ignore 1 defense the next time you deal damage. Okay, which would help him hurt the Jammers, so that's cool. Cookie Monster, 2 range, lower any number of an ally's skill cooldowns by a total of 3. Oh, it's not that great right now because all she has is Pounce at 1. It's about to be about to be ready anyway. Yeah, so there's really no point in playing that yet, is there? Let's see, is there anything cool that she can help with? Ooh, ally may move 3 spaces. That would let him get right to the terminal. But then he would be surrounded by a billion guys. But he could try to go early next round. And she does have, a green to use it. Ah, darn it. Interesting is she could use Quick Calibrate to let herself shift 2. It would flip her 1 blue. But then she could flip both her blues back with the double shift to do this. And then they may replace any hack ability with an enemy attack. And that's any enemy attack. So he could, prance over here and do, 4 or 5 damage to that guy. Though the Jammer's got 8 life, 1 shield of each type, so it might not matter. We're going to do the Translocate, and then I'm going to hopefully go early with Shade and maybe have drawn his Camouflage by then. All right, so we are fluxing. So that will flip, which means we are also, by the way, ready for Copycat. She gets to draw a single card. Gets, that System Crash one that'll deal damage and crash somebody, so they basically skip their next turn. That's pretty awesome. And she's going to move an ally 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. This goes into our parts, and we need to spend these. You are not allowed to hang on to, these token-based parts. But it's a white to level up our skill, and an orange and a green to get more mods and more items. That'll be great. All right, now I need both my actions to activate the terminal. Should I do anything to this guy while I'm right next to him? Because she is ready to let him do the Copycat, although she wouldn't be able to draw replacement cards. Maybe she should just wait. The highest damage any of the enemies have is 4. So yeah, I would get 3 damage through on the Jammer. But that would be it for the round, although pretty good chance he can do a bunch of damage later. Unfortunately, he can play the Defect Demon for free to lower the guy's shields. So yeah, for now, I'll just hang on to Copycat. Maybe she can play it on her turn since she's not going to redraw. All right, so he's still got both his actions. He's got all 3 of his movements. So let's just go 1, 2... I'm not sure where I want to be. The other terminal's down there. Sure, we'll be here. Then he's going to use both his actions to access a terminal. Now, most enemies upgrade when they get their token reached on the threat track. In this scenario, the militants upgrade automatically whenever you access the terminal. So they are now going to be level 2 militants, which means, oh my gosh, but there's a better action for me to use with that copy an enemy ability. 3 range and 5 cyber attack, heck yeah. But what does accessing the terminal do for us, besides getting closer to winning? It does something great. It lets you upgrade 1 of either your defense and attack, and 1 of either your movement and max health. So let's go for the movement, because this is clearly a kind of run-and-gun kind of scenario. And then do I want to... Defense might be good here, especially if he gets attacked a lot. But I am thinking that I'll just run over and smash some people and go early. I do have 2 1 initiative cards in my hand. Let's take a chance and go for even more damage. Yay! And then, if Shade is doing it, then Kitty's got to do it too, right? Let's do the exact same thing. Hey, once she levels up Pounce, now she'll be able to use 2 for +2 damage to all her attacks for a round. That'll be pretty awesome. All right, that pretty much finishes up Shade. We still have his 1 shift. Is there anything we want to be using? I do notice that Defect Demon needs a green with the blue, and Cookie Monster needs 2 blues on the left. So maybe let's swap these reds, since it seems like everything else will kind of like that better. All right, and now our PCI card goes to discard, and then we're going to draw, and we're going to draw up to 5, which means we'll get all but 1 card. We got Freezer, or the one that slows down our enemies, which is good for all these melee people. And Creepers, definitely like that one. and the shadow one. Oh, crud, did I not? Yeah, crud. The only card I didn't get is freaking camouflage. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to try to go early with one of these and then, run away from people and kill some people. Ooh, actually, like, if I use a PCI, I can draw camouflage, can't I? So, I can do Defect Demon to add 1 attack to an ally, or it can make an ally lower their skill cooldown. Well, let's get the kitty first. So, that and that, scroll over. Pounce is ready to go again, although still its basic form. And she's got Copycat, Quick Calibrate, and System Crash. And Copycat's, it's not ready to go. I do need to use her 1 shift maybe to flip that to red. Well, if I want to play it for free, I mean. That's right, System Crash can do a ton of damage to somebody. So she's got 5 movement, but unfortunately it costs 2 to enter an elevated place and leave 1. So that would be 4. Or she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, then she has no way to get bonus movement right now. Her basic attack needs to be in melee range. She could do the Copycat and the System Crash instead of her basic attack. That would do a bunch of damage to this guy and also make it so that he couldn't do anything on his turn. All right, so sure, I guess she'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I think I'm going to do Copycat. God, it takes forever to come back, though. So it seems like maybe kind of a waste. So she has to copy an enemy within 3, and she can copy the top or bottom. She has to use her shift if she wants to make it free. So that's not an action yet. She still has 2 actions. So she can copy top or bottom. The top does 4 damage and a Faraday net, but that doesn't affect enemies, only you. Basically gums up your cooldown track. Or she could do 3, and that's not a stun. That makes them do less damage. But I'd rather kill the guy. So let's say we're doing the 4 attack. And I do want to have Shade jump in here just so we can draw into that camouflage one. Defect Demon and Shadow both deal 1 damage. Or +1, I should say. But Shadow will flip a token that'll then let me play Defect Demon for free. So let's do that. Doing boop. To play Shadow and add +1 damage as somebody's attack. And we get to draw a card. Yay, camouflage! Although I guess if Kitty is in the line of fire, that might not matter so much. But she's attacking Jammer number 1 for 5 damage with the boost, -1 armor, so he is half dead. And then for an action, because this doesn't work at all, she'll play System Crash. She's in 3 range. She can crash the guy and then deal damage -1. Her damage is up to 4 now, so that'd be 3, which means with his armor it'll be 2. But, I mean, it will crash him, so he can't do much if he does activate. So that was for an action. We definitely don't have the right things for it. And he's down to 2 life, and he's crashed. I wish I could have killed him to get more upgrade stuff, but it's okay. And she does have 1 action left, but I don't see any way for me to get to the guy to kill him. Quick Calibrate will give me a bonus if I kill. Oh, I guess I can do a double shift, right, with my final action. So, sure, let's make Quick Calibrate closer to free, I guess. So I'll flip that there and then do that. Why not? Okay, and that's the end of her turn, so that's coming back. And, she's just getting all these, because that is her entire deck. That does mean she has Translocator ready to play again. That's cool. And she has a decently fast initiative card. Not as fast as Shade has in the wings, but fast enough for next turn, hopefully. All right, with that, we're upgrading again. Kitty's choices. Slipstream Loader. Adjacent ally gains an extra action on their next turn. That's pretty awesome. Ooh, you can even, what? Can attack twice? Has to be an adjacent ally, though. Are they going to be adjacent to each other? Ping. +1 target to your attacks. Ooh. While it's on the thing, but you cannot replace hacks while this is there. So I can't, play a hack on top of another one. But still, that's really good. Although, we're all, melee people, so maybe not as much for these characters. Shield Demon. Whenever you lose 2 or less life, you may instead discard another hack from your track and take no damage. Wow. That seems really good. Yeah, I'm going to go for that one. Because, again, at some point, these snipers are going to start hitting us, and we didn't boost our defense. Maybe a terrible idea. For Shade, he's got Enhanced Speed, sounds pretty good. +2 to yourself and an ally for the round. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard to beat. Oh, man, the zombie one, though, ZeroDay.exe. Turn somebody into a zombie, which means, on their next activation, they treat the enemies as allies and the allies as enemies. So they, skip their turn and also, it's just so good. And then search your deck for a card and place it into your hand. We don't have enough cards yet. The Enhanced Speed is really good. Because we just got to get to the next terminal, and especially him with, his camouflage is kind of the person. But I like the zombie one. Let's go for zombie. All right, and then upgrades. We're going to spend the white to progress our skills, even though, she didn't use it. I guess it didn't matter. Well, I could have instincts loaded, but whatever. All right, so she's going to upgrade Pounce. So now I can spend 2 movement to get the attack bonus. That's fully upgraded. And Shade's going to upgrade Blink Blade, I guess, even though I don't know if there will be 2 enemies next to each other. It does immediately cool it down all the way, although, yeah, none of this is very good, is it? Because that was going to cool down anyway, but it's fine. But then the big one, we get build items and another build mods. So build item, each of them gets a 1-use item. Shade gets a Zap Pack. If an enemy moves adjacent to you, instantly deal Cyber plus 2 damage to that enemy. That's 6 damage. Whoa! Let's go, melee people. Bring it. And then Kitty got 9 lives. That seems very appropriate. Heal 3 life. I think you can use this during your turn? Yeah, I'm not sure of the timing of when you can use items, but we'll see. All right, and then mods. We draw one more of the number of players again. So we already had an arm. Oh, this is cool. This is actually really good luck. So each character has 1 mod that is unique to them. Anybody else can use the basic ability, but they also get the bottom thing too. So let's look at all these though. So an optic nerve chip, Shade already has a brain one. Before each initiative phase, you may reveal the top 2 cards of the enemy initiative deck. You may place 1 card on the bottom of the deck. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, I gotta say, to know what they're gonna be doing. Upgrade Simulator. Nobody has a brain enhancement yet. When an enemy upgrades, you may draw 1 part from the scavenge bag. If you draw the black cube, draw again and place it back in the bag. Oh, so as they upgrade, we get free upgrades. That's cool. And then, yeah, the Shade one. When you deal 3 or more damage during your turn, you may shift 1. Not too bad. And if you're Shade, once per turn, if you defeat an enemy, you may immediately make a free attack against an adjacent enemy. Again, I don't know if they're going to be like enough enemies are going to be next to each other to make that work, but it sounds awesome. I mean, yeah, I got to do it, right? So Shade's getting his camo suit. And then Kitty could use either of these. I like free upgrades. I'll be honest. More of us upgrading is cool. Oh, and you can see, by the way, the one that is colored differently is the one that their unique mod matches. So it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't want to get a leg unless I got a really awesome other one. Okay, but that uses up the token, so that's gone. And we're in round 3, the round before they start spawning again. And let's go to initiative. So to check real quick, they did not get the redraw, which means these are staying out. So what's left? 1, 2 2s, 2 5s, and a 3. So kind of on the extremes, but like the 2s and the 5s are most likely. And I mean, yeah, we know that we're doing something fast with Shade. I guess the Cookie Monster one. Kitty's not even really using her skills very much. And then Kitty, I think, also wants to go fast, but I want to keep Translocator. So let's use Quick Calibrate to go to initiative. We are going to upgrade the enemies by going too fast, but so it goes. All right, so Shade's at 1, Kitty's at 2. The Cyborgs are going at 5, the one that's left on the board. The Jammers, there's 2 of them, are going at 1, and they're going to attack before we can do anything. Darn it. And they're going to Faraday at us. This sucks. Okay, the Slicers are going at 5 as well. And the Snipers, please. No, they're going before Kitty, and they're probably going to shoot her all full of holes. Crud. And oh, God, that is a 5 attack for both of them? Oh, man, what do I do? Yeah, because look me out here, just like leaving my face in the wind. Yeah, of course they can both see us. Crud. All right, so the Jammers are first, then the Militants are second with the 2. Oh, no, the Shade is second with his 1, then the Militants, then, where is she? Kitty, and then, yeah, the Cyborgs and the Slicers are in whatever order we want. Now, we do gain a single threat, which is less than I anticipated gaining, but also we're going to get our butt kicked. So that moves up 1, and we still have not gotten to upgrading the Slicers. And yeah, I forgot. System crashed the Jammer. So that's at least 1 pretty big attack we're not suffering. So that guy does nothing but sit there. And then this one, by the way, I did move them last turn. I forgot to do it on camera. They have 1 move and 5 range. So they're trying to get to Shade, but can't reach him. Speaking of Shade, what do I want to do? Should be really easy for Kitty to kill that one. She's moving 3 in attacking range 1. He's moving 2 in attacking range 1. So yeah, the only people that are really dangerous are these stupid Militants. But I've only got 4 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't get to them yet. But if I can take them out, it'd be tough for these other people to even like get down to attack me. Oh, but then that's right. The new spawns are coming here and here. So it seems like it's probably smarter to just like kill the people on the bridge and move past. Ooh, and I've got my creepers to do like 5 damage at the start of my turn to somebody. And that's a loses effect. So the Slicers has 10. The Cyborgs only have 7. So I could probably like move up, hurt this guy. I will finish this guy off. Also maybe get in range to put a creeper on her and then go into camouflage so they can't get me. But then is Kitty going to survive their attack? They're doing 5 damage twice, and she's got 2 defense. If that's 6 damage, she's dead. What do I friggin' do? Ooh. Move 1 enemy token to be last in initiative. That Flux can put the militants behind Kitty, and then she won't get shot by them, and she can, I don't know, try to get into cover or something. Yeah, I like that. Of course, that's like 50 cards I'm talking about trying to play. By the way, Fizz Shift goes down here. Blade Hack goes there. All right, so what do I want to do? I want to move over to the guy, murder him, and then put out the creepers, and also like get my stuff ready to use Freezer on one of the enemies. Oh, I need camouflage. Okay, so let's use my movement first, 3 of them, to go 1, 2, 3. And I'll use one of my actions to do my basic attack, which now does 4 damage. So with they have 1 armor and 2 life left, so this guy's done. And we get to draw some more upgrade cubes, 2 whites, okay. Then I have 1 move left, so I can go there. Oh, crud. Creepers and camouflage both go on the 1 spot, and they don't share a color, which means, like, if I could put creepers down and then put a green on top of it to kick it out of the place, then it would activate immediately, because it says when this card is moved to your discard pile, even if it's discarded by another like card taking its place. But I couldn't do that combo. And in fact, while creepers would replace Blade Hack, camouflage wouldn't. What if I don't camouflage? Ooh, look at this. The militants will each choose a different target than the last if possible. So if I purposefully don't camouflage, they're going to split their fire, and Kitty's definitely going to be okay. Although I still just think she could like get behind the blue, but then I would get shot twice, but we don't have a lot of life. I shouldn't forget the cyborg, if she can see me, is going to hit me pretty hard too. Darn it. Oh, by the way, I did get a free shift when I did 3 or more damage. Unfortunately, there was not another adjacent enemy for me to get the free attack thing. So what do I want to shift? I guess get creepers in the middle, because I'm still kind of thinking about doing creepers. All right, I don't know, man. I'm doing creepers, because I just want to kill her. So my Blade Hack jumps over, because it matches. This is a free play. So I still have 1 action left, but I have, I've used all my my movement. So I just put 1 of Shade's tokens here. And then what the hey, let's Blink Blade, I guess, right? Although, can I... Oh, Defect Demon goes on the track. I forgot about that. Oh, I still want to do the Freezer, and that red is out of position. All right, so let's use my free shift to do that, I guess. And then, sure, I'll Blink Blade, so it's attack -1, but it's physical. So I'm going to do 4 -1 minus another 1 for their armor, only 2 damage. That'll leave them with 5, which means when the creeper goes off and I start my turn, they die. So sure, that sounds worth it. Ooh, and I can teleport past them because of how the blade, the thing works. Blink Blade. See, I'm doing 2 damage to number 2, and they'll be dead once Shade activates again. I still got 1 action left, and it's got to be healing, so I don't hopefully die. Oh, I forgot if an enemy moves adjacent to me. Oh, so I wouldn't have to do like any of this stuff. Well, I'll just save that for somebody else. All right, so that's the end of my turn. Yeah, that's the end of my turn. So Shadow comes down, and I'm going to draw 1 of these random. Oh, no, 2. That's right, because my draw is still +1. Okay, and then I think you can use the Flux whenever. So I'm going to use Freezer and draw another card. Blip. To move the militants to the... Do I still want to do that? Move the militants to the back? Do I actually care? Yeah, I guess I don't. Well, unfortunately, I already drew the new card. I don't remember which one it was, so we'll just say we're doing it. So, sure. Militants, go back here. Have fun. Oh, which means that Kitty is right away. What's she going to do, though? Because the cyborg's already going to be dead. All right, well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so that comes down. Man, she had a lot of cards up here, didn't she? Ooh, good. Translocator matches color-wise, so we'll get Hiss back earlier and be able to teleport. And then I guess she probably wants quick reflexes. What kind of attack are the guys doing? Ooh, they are. The militants, ooh, and the cyborg are both doing cyber attacks. Maybe she'll, like, try to get close and take it on purpose. How much moves does she have? 5? So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, cyborg, how are you? Okay, and then, I have 2 actions. Translocator. I could use your free shift to just swap this to here. Then that would be a free play, and Hiss would get discarded. Okay, and that's not going to do anything, but once it gets discarded, then she will get to teleport. All right, so I still have 2 actions. Quick reflexes almost was there, too. Oh, that's okay. I can just use an action for it, and it will push System Crash down. So she's got +1 cyber defense. Then what do I do for other action? Oh, whenever you use a flux, place a tracker on this card. And then, okay. Sure, why not? That can be her last action. So now she's got some bonuses going on whenever she fluxes. Yeah, so she didn't want to attack because, again, that guy's going to die from the worm. And probably going to have Shade, like, go first to try to get it to fire off faster. Okay, and then she does have to draw. And what does she have? Ally adds 1 defense. That might be good. And I do have the flux for it. And may shift 2, you may move 1 space. Ally in 2 range adds +1 cyber attack. But I want to use Hiss for her own attack. Yes, I'll probably use Shield Demon for the PCI in a second when we get attacked. All right, so the cyborg is next. She wants to hit somebody for 4 cyber. Oh, and whoops, she prioritizes most life. I thought it was not that. Well, here, we'll go ahead and have Kitty do the Shield Demon thing to give him +1 defense and flip for one of her blues. I guess I'll flip the right one because Agility Demon is already in the right place and nobody wants a blue over here. So bloop, and that's going to PCI, so she gets to draw her last card. Ooh, the System Crash one again. Awesome. She's got a lot of good bonus attacks. So Cyborg's hitting him for 4, but he's got 3 shields with Kitty's boost. So he's down only 1. That's fine. Okay, and then Slicer's got 2 movement, 1 range. So he's just kind of chasing us around, which is perfect, actually, because now as we head right after she dies to get to the terminal and the exit, that is right where we want him to be. The other jammer already went, and now it's the militants. They're each going to shoot one of us for 5 cyber damage. All right, Kitty's got her quick reflexes boosting her, so she has 3 defense, so she's down 2 life. She can use 9 lives to heal that if she wants. Shade, though, geez, is taken 3. He does not have a healing thing, and he's down to 2. But, I mean, he can still go camouflage. Oh, and I got the zombie one. Oh, that'd be good. If I could, like, make one of the snipers my zombie, but that's probably too far away. Okay, and that's the end of round 3. We're going into round 4, which means spawning, sadly. Yeah, so it says at the end of each even round, spawn a green spawn enemy onto that space. Okay, so at least they're behind me. Oh, wait, a green? Oh, which one is that? Oh, they're not green, technically. They're, like, gray. I just didn't have the basis for it. It's one of the cyborgs, so that's fine. I don't think they'll be able to move fast enough to, like, really bring anything dangerous to me. At the end of next round, we're going to spawn a black enemy, one of the slicers here. That's a bit more problematic because they're, like, right where we're trying to go, but at least they're a melee unit, and I think can handle it. Now, let's go to upgrading. We've got these. Gosh darn it, I meant to use friggin' Riposte and Instincts. Kitty could have teleported when she got attacked, which would have been amazing, and he could have done some damage to people. And I got these friggin' upgrades for them. This is so dumb. Sorry. Mike being stupid. So I'm going to keep one of the whites, even though I could spend both of these to upgrade a card. And I'm going to spend the other one to start working on both of these getting stronger. And I'm going to try to remember to be smarter. Oops, first I should be downloading. So what's Kitty got to choose from? Exploit Demon. When you apply a status effect, place a tracker on this card. Actually, doesn't apply that many status effects. Hack Recall. Return a card from your discard to your hand. That would have been good. Control X. Copy the effect of a hack on an ally's track and discard the hack. I don't know. I mean, I guess... Oh, no, you cannot copy things like... Oh, no, Creeper is not one. That would actually be pretty good because it would, like, copy the Creeper bomb thing. But I'm not... Let's go for the Hack Recall, I guess. Okay, then for Shade... Puppet Demon. Choose an enemy to use all of its move with you controlling it. It gains... that means that it can't move on its next round. And has -1 defense for the next round. That's pretty dang good. Auto Mend. All adjacent allies heal 1 at the beginning of their turn. No, but he's the one who needs to heal. Reverb. When this finishes, deal an attack to 2 range. That's very strong. When this finishes, you may put it into 2 if you do lose 2 life. All right, so it's an attack that takes a little while. I like the Puppet Demon one to, like, send one of these melee people just out of the way. That seems really good. Okay, then we did the white upgrade. We're back to initiative. So yeah, no question, because I might die otherwise. I'm going to use Cookie Monster. Yeah, I'll use Cookie Monster to get 1 initiative for Shade. And, dang it, I guess Quick Calibrate for Kitty so that she can hopefully go before, like, the snipers at least. And we are reshuffling. All right, so Cyborg is first. Go slow. So Shade, yes, okay. So Shade will kill the only Cyborg on the board before they ever get to do anything meaningful. Ooh, the jammers are slow. I think that's good. Yeah, that's not like the most powerful attack either. Although if we go very early, some people are going to upgrade. The Slicer's going 2, but he's far away, so that's actually great. Oh, God, militants. 3. Awesome. Okay. We can deal with this. What are they doing? 5 attack. Oh, gosh. That's the same one they did last time, right? Okay. Then There is a place for Kitty to, like, hide over here if she can reach it. I'm not sure if she can. And then Shade can go into camouflage. So let's try to have that all happen. But we are about to give them a good amount of stuff because Shade is first with his 1. Then the Slicers are second. Kitty is third, so that's another threat increase. And then the Militants are fourth. And I don't know, these people don't matter too much. So we're getting +3 threat. 1, 2, 3. So the black Slicers are upgrading to, what have they got? Oh, got a 5 attack, 4 range. Oh, crud. They didn't have range before. So, yeah, like the cards changing can really mess you up. All right, but Shade is first. The Creeper goes off the track. That enemy loses 5, so our 1 Cyborg is immediately dead, and Blink Blade lowers down. Bye-bye. So there are currently no Cyborgs on... Oh, no, there is a Cyborg. That's right, the new one that spawned. But she's not going to be able to reach us yet. And we get parts-wise, an orange for items, and another white. Okay. And then I think I might want Shade to just, like, run to this thing. Oh, that's... No, it's not a higher elevation thing. That would get him closer to the terminal, and then he can go into camouflage. Oh, and can he get in range of ZeroDay.exe? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so he could ZeroDay.exe the Jammer, who's got 1 move and 4 range, which I think is not quite enough. Yeah, he couldn't get in range of anybody to shoot. But hey, I mean, he would still cancel that guy attacking us, and that seems pretty good. Although, if I'm in camouflage, it might not matter. Well, either way, let's do the thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got just a ton of whites. So we can level up our last skill and also definitely upgrade another starting card. I got 2 actions left. Well, let's do some stuff. Might as well get this defect demon thing that will... let him ignore armor when he starts attacking. So I can play that for free and still have 2 actions. That goes right there. And then I think that gets camouflage. Yeah, if I use my 1 free shift to move the red over, I can play... Oh, that's ZeroDay.exe. What am I doing? Go back. Certainly cannot play camouflage for free. I'm not even close to playing camouflage for free. But I will play camouflage for an action, so the enemies can't target me. So I have 1 action left. I think I should probably heal, right? Yeah. And I could play ZeroDay.exe, but again, it would only be able to be played on the blue guy, and he can't attack anybody. So I really think that's better to save for the moment. So let's stop there. Freezer comes down, and we shuffle these in. And oh, no, actually, we're not going to draw yet. Oh, yes, we are, because he's got to get to 5 cards. Okay, next to his Slicers, and they've got 1 move and 4 range. Oh, crud. Would that get them to her? Yeah. And for 5 attack, shoot. Yeah, and crud, even if I use Agility Demon to move 1 space, he could still just shoot me. That new card just sucks. Okay, so he's moving up and shooting her for 5 physical, which is also not the one she has a bonus to. Is she dead? Oh my gosh, is she dead? Yeah, and Shade doesn't have anything to stop it. Gosh darn it. Oh wait, she's got the item. I still don't know what the timing is. Let me go check the rules. It says can be used at any time, so yes we will. We're wasting 1 of the healing, and then he's doing 3 more damage, so she's down to 2. But she ain't dead. Why didn't I use Friggin' Instinct? She would have totally been out of range then. Annoying. Okay, well now it's Kitty's turn. Translocator blips off, and she can move to an unoccupied space within 4. And she just teleports. She doesn't have to pay attention to, like, normal movement restrictions. If she gets, like, over here or here, can they see her? She's nearly dead. This is probably a bad idea. That guy definitely can't see either of those spaces. He can't see there. So what if she goes there and tries to murder the Jammer? 2, 3, 4 is the best she can do. And then she definitely can have enough movement to get to him. Let's see what happens. The Jammers do a pretty good, consistent defense. Okay, all of these go down. She's got her hack. Oh, I forgot. When an enemy upgrades, we get to draw a free part from the bag. And we got another white. Too many. Ooh, she can system crash him if nothing else. So even if she can't straight up kill him, he'll be close. She's got 4 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of line of sight of both. Wait, am I sure that that's out of line of sight? Because now looking at it doesn't really seem... Oh, no, it definitely is. Again, she can do a regular attack for 1 action, and then, like, system crash him. Can she get a freebie off? Let's see. She could get a Agility Demon, which would kick Copycat back. That seems pretty good. That would give her +1 movement, and she has 1 movement remaining, so she could use Pounce for +1 to all her attacks. Her regular attack would get 4 damage through half dead. Yeah, I got to figure between Hiss and that, he would die. Okay, so let's do Agility Demon. It's going to replace Copycat. And flip this. So that's a free. She still has 2 actions. She's got +1 movement. She's going to use Pounce and spend both movement to have +1 to all her attacks for this turn. Regular cyber attack against him, boosted to 5. He's got 1 defense, so he's already half dead. And then hiss, right? Just as an action. Yeah, because I don't have the right thing. Oh, I can shift, actually. Yeah, then she'd be able to heal, which is way better. So let me use her shift to swap red and green, because that would get hiss in the right spot. So this is free. She still has an action. So within 2 range, she's next to him. She's dealing 4 cyber damage, boosted to, 5 from pounce. And it's going in 3, and it does match a color, so hack sequence. Oh, when you use a flux. Oh, I forgot about all this. Oh, well. Okay, so, yeah, so she's killing this guy. Oh, but I got to flip these. But he's murdered, and except for a billion snipers, the path is clear to the last terminal. And we... What the heck, man? Yeah, just checking. There is a black cube in there. All right. I'm not saying I want to draw the black cube, mind you. It's just kind of weird that I haven't. Okay, so I can't use System Crash for free. We'll save it for now. That's right, she still has an action left. So absolutely, dear God, let's heal her. All right, and that will be that. Let's see what she draws into. She did finally go, well, she has the 1, but the copycat has such a good ability, but she might need to go early. Although, never mind, I guess she wants the militants to go after or before her because she's already dodging their attacks right now. So yeah, the militants go, but neither of them can see her, and Shade is camouflaged, thank God. And then the cyborg goes. She's moving 3 to attack at range 1. I guess that would be the best for her. And then the jammers go, but there aren't any. In fact, they don't spawn. It's going to be green and black over and over again, so there will not be any more jammers. I guess, can I just like take them out of the game, technically? No, I mean, I don't think there's any rule about that, and I think they could still like fill in initiative spots to help me not get threat, and they could also still be upgraded by tokens. So yeah, we'll just keep it going how it is. But we're going into round 5. Oh, wait a second. It says at the end of each even round, spawn a green spawn. So she didn't get to move. She's just there, which is great because at the end of this round, this guy will be here. Otherwise, she would potentially be in a lot of danger. All right, so upgrading. We're going to upgrade our last skill, get another item. Oh, crud, I guess, yeah, and we'll use this to replace a starter card. I don't think we can do that multiple times, so I think those other whites are just going to hang out. But first, we do need to download Shade. Ooh, kill switch. Defeat an enemy with 5 or less. Seems pretty good for an assassin. Riposte, demon, worm. Worm is a double attack one, but I mean, kill switch just seems so good. Okay, and then Kitty, subsume. Whenever you deal damage, you may take damage to deal 1 more. I don't know about that. Cyber shift. You are an ally, deal cyber. Oh, it's the opposite of the fizz shift he has. And then weaponize. Add crash. For next time you deal damage this turn, that's definitely the one. Crash is amazing. Like if I could crash these dummies, that would make things a lot easier. Okay, and then I'll upgrade my last skill and get one of my starter skills upgraded. All right, so Kitty has instincts upgraded now. Let's try to actually remember that that skill exists. This one is nice, too, for like the snipers. While the tracker is at 3, if an enemy causes you to lose life, move to any unoccupied space within 3 spaces and lose 1 less life from the enemy. So she could, like, yeah, if she can get to the terminal this turn, she could then, like, get right near the exit. So she's, even though it's a great skill, she's going to use System Crash for initiative to try to go after the snipers and, like, let her cover protect her. And Shade's going to do the same thing, but not with ZeroDay.exe, because that's awesome. Let's do it with Shadow. So they're both initiative 4 this turn, which, yeah, oh, yes. Both 5s are gone, so there's no way, with no reshuffle, that any enemy can go after them, and that's exactly what I want. Heck yeah. Although, I guess the one like Slicer could potentially reach us. Okay, so our Cyborg is moving really far, but not really doing much. The Jammer, I think I still draw 4. Maybe I don't. Slicers are going very early. That's fine. And the Snipe, okay, this is perfect. This is so good. I love how this is working out. So, yeah, everyone is before us. Slicer, 1. Militant, 2. Jammers that don't exist in Cyborgs. And then I guess I can pick... let's have Shade go after, because if she's going to activate the terminal and level us up, then maybe Shade can, like, do some damage or something. But this seems great. So if Slicer's trying to do his 1 attack, 4 range thing again, that's definitely not going to work. He only moves 1. Except, you know, I see that it would have made her do 1 less damage. Crud. Well, probably means that I wouldn't have killed that Jammer, which seems pretty dang important. But that's a problem for future Mike editing this video and not for current Mike. Okay, the militants still can't hit me. Wow. Camouflage, by the way, and like a really fast character. So great for this mission. If I was not using Shade, I think this would be terrible. Okay, the Cyborg wanted to move 3. Same thing we were going to do last time. There are no jammers, and it's us. So, hey, Kitty, what's going on with you? Quick reflexes coming down, so she doesn't have her defense boost anymore. But that's okay, that's okay. So what was she going to do? She was going to move. She's got 5 movement to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and then she can move 1 towards the exit. She's going to use both her actions to activate that. And no question this time, we're definitely upping our defense. Oh, and I think if she ups her max health, she also ups her current health. So let's do both of those. Not 100% sure about that. And I think you do it like that, where like you have 2 cubes when they're higher. Yeah, clearly Shade will do the exact same thing. Again, sorry if I'm cheating here by gaining health when I do this. And then she's got 1 movement left, plink. And she's definitely going to activate her killer instincts. I don't even know if there are any cards she can play. Oh, I guess she has her 1 shift, doesn't she? But nobody's in range of Copycat. She can't do Hack Recall. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's her entire turn. That's all she wanted to do. And then can Shade just, like, leave? He's not in camouflage anymore. And he should have enough movement to get to the exit, I think. Well, actually, crud. I think I have to move in from there. So 2 to get onto the elevated, 3, 4. Yeah, you'd need 3 more move to get in there. Although I think from here, he's probably not visible from the militants. Because it's kind of in the same line. Let's see. No, okay. He could be hit by that militant, but definitely not, by the second one. But he can also try to just go fast next turn. So yeah, I think he's just going to move 2, 3, 4 and get right next to there. And then let's definitely use an action to heal fully. And then, I don't know. None of these are really about... I definitely went really hard for, like, attacking, didn't I? Let's get Riposte ready, just so it exists. And, yeah, I think it's fine. I think we're going to win. We do spawn in another Slicer, and we go to round 6, and theoretically the last one, unless one of us dies, which I think is highly unlikely. All right, so we should do the whole thing, get a new card, but I'm not going to do it because we should be finishing the mission one way or another right now. Oh, and I forgot to upgrade a card last time, didn't I? All right, well, let's do that now for both of us. Although, actually, I realize he doesn't have the card that I would want to get in hand. We'll just skip that, too. Let's see if they kill us. That's really all it comes down to. Shade's got a 1 initiative card. Kitty's got a 1 initiative card. And actually, I think if they shoot her, she would just go 1, 2, 3 into the exit anyway. And yeah, the only people that can theoretically get us are that 1 slice from the militant. So let's see. Okay, Cyborgs are slow. Jammers that don't exist are slow. Slicers are slow, so they're out of it. And militants. Okay, that's it. Whee! All right, kind of rushed the ending, but I think it was a foregone conclusion at that point. These characters seemed, in retrospect, kind of perfect for this mission. I think, like, without camouflage, things would have been a lot tougher. But let's get to what I think of ZeroDay.exe. I think this game is a ton of fun. It is, I've seen it compared to Gloomhaven in that it is a very low-luck dungeon crawler, and that is clearly the case. There is no die rolling. Really, the only luck in the game is the initiative draw for the enemies and your own card draw, although you have such a small deck, especially early on, that even that's not much of a luck element. But yeah, I like the variety in the enemies. Again, like these different cards, there's 3 of each level, so like 9 cards per enemy, at least in the prototype, and each of them even has 2 activations. So even playing with the same types of enemies game to game is going to feel very different, I think. The fact that you can see what they're doing and like see the possibilities for the 2 actions they might take ahead of time, I think gives you a lot of information as a player. I like that better than like games where you have to just do a blind to draw completely. The initiative system punishing you for going early is interesting because you saw on this mission, I kind of made it work for me that going late was actually better in a lot of cases. But that's true of a lot of dungeon crawlers, right? Where like you want to have lower initiative so they come to you but don't actually hit you and then you hit them back. So I'm not 100% sure about this whole threat thing. I think it's fine. But I do like the initiative track. I think it's a cool system. And the fact that they win ties does mean you can never like guarantee going first, which I think adds some nice tension. And the fact that you have to discard a card from your hand really adds some fun choices. And really, that's what the game comes down to. Just lots of cool choices in cards. I like the deck building where you don't have to like pay for things. You just get a card every round. And it's like a really big, this is with all the cards I already took out. It's a really big deck, even in the prototype. So you're going to see very different like level ups each game. Although I think they did a good job. These are kind of my favorite deck builders often. I think they did a good job of balancing the unique aspects of your character between their skills and their stats and their starting cards and the upgrades for their starting cards with the cards you get. Like Shade was still very much a melee stealth guy, even though he could turn people into zombies and like boost his attack and all that kind of stuff. And also, at least from the 2 scenarios I've seen, I have not played any of the boss scenarios, but the one that Steve and Kim played on the co-op guild and this one are highly different. This one is like a constant combat scenario with cover being incredibly important, whereas that one was much more of like a traditional dungeon crawler with opening up rooms and new enemies like coming in and fighting them for a little while and then things getting calm and then blowing up again. And the characters are fun and diverse and different. And this whole thing, it's not like rocket science. And I don't know if I leveraged it to its full effect. But it does feel really cool when you can get 4 or 5 actions or the equivalent of 4 or 5 actions in a round because you're manipulating your programs well. Makes you feel smart. I like games that make me feel smart. And this one definitely does. I will say it's a lot to handle. And I'm sure I missed combos and playing on each other with solo. So I'm very curious to see what the true solo mode will be. Because again, since you are supposed to be kind of constantly getting ready to help each other out with cards, the fact that I was trying to keep my head on a swivel and missing things is not ideal playing the game two-handed, but I think it also worked okay, especially with straightforward characters like these ones. So yeah, I hope they do a cool true solo mode, but if they don't, I don't think I'm saying don't play this solo. I had a lot. But if they don't, I'm not saying don't play this game solo. I think it's still a lot of fun. So yeah, ZeroDay.exe, really enjoyable. I want to see more of it. I want to play more characters. It's a good time. So thanks for watching, everybody. Go check out the game campaign page, and we'll see you at the next stop.